Senate has voted to advance a short-term funding effort that would end the 41-day government shutdown.
A Senate deal calls for a separate vote this year on extending health insurance tax credits. The shutdown has had a major impact on U.S. air travel. Our transportation reporter Elijah Westbrook has the latest from Newark Airport this morning, and it is busy there. Elijah.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Mary and Chris, it is still very busy, very active just after 6 o'clock this morning. And there's also a level of frustration that we've been seeing among travelers. Just a little while ago, some of the check-in kiosks were displaying signs that said, please wait, an agent is on the way. And so it did stall some travelers a bit before they were able to make their way over to TSA. It seems like that issue has been resolved, but of course, we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. Overnight, the Senate advanced a short-term funding measure in hopes of breaking the gridlock, and it could be the first big step to alleviate some of the chaos we're seeing now. In a rare moment of bipartisan cooperation, 8 Democrats crossed the aisle late last night, joining Republicans to advance a short-term funding deal in a 60-40 vote. The agreement would extend government funding until late January, and it promises a mid-December vote on a Democratic-led bill focused on strengthening the Affordable Care Act. It would also reverse the mass firings of federal workers that came during the shutdown and guarantee full back pay once the government reopens.
After 40 days of uncertainty, I'm profoundly glad to be able to announce that nutrition programs, our veterans, and other critical priorities will have their full-year funding.
But the bill is already facing resistance from some Democrats because it does not include an extension of guaranteed health care subsidies, something they say is essential.
And this is only the first step. So let me be clear. No one in the Senate chamber wants to extend the ACA tax credits more than I do. I introduced that legislation in 2019. I fought successfully to pass it in 2021 and 2023, and I'm 100% committed to getting this done.
But all of this comes as the shutdown continues to impact SNAP benefits, which is tied up in legal limbo, halted federal services, and severe air traffic control shortages causing airport disruptions.
We're working overtime to make sure that it is safe to travel.
On Sunday, more than 2,000 flights were canceled across the U.S., and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned with the staffing shortage, it could get worse.
I look to, the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle.
Yeah, and that's certainly not good news to hear. We're back out here live inside Terminal C. At last check, the FAA is showing us that there are about 45 delays and nearly 90 cancellations here at Newark Airport. Chris and Mary?
All right, so Elijah, what changes does this short-term funding deal bring for airlines and passengers? Does this mean we can see normal operations at the airports anytime soon?
Well, Chris, I wouldn't say that we're out of the woods just yet. Of course, keep in mind that this is a temporary measure that's set to expire at the end of January. But in the meantime, it could provide some relief for agencies like the TSA and the FAA in terms of getting those staffing levels back in order. But of course, it's one of those things we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out in the days and weeks ahead.
All right, better not be weeks, that's for sure. Elijah, thank you at Newark Airport.
And we will continue our coverage on the fallout from the government shutdown. Stay with us for the very latest updates on air and streaming on CBS News New York.